The Flash Professional Library is a powerful resource that contains all imported assets and symbols for use in your projects. This lesson will introduce you to the library and how it works. So here we have an FLA opened up, and it's already got a lot of assets created. It's got some animation and so forth and so on. If we go into the actual library tab here, so the library panel, we can see that we actually have a ton of assets already embedded in this project. Now, if I click on any of these, we're given a small preview up here. So for instance, here's our little play button. Here are some different pieces of other components, such as the player and mountains and things of that nature. Here's the title. And you can see that each one of these has a specific icon next to it. So this icon here with the gear, this is going to signify a movie clip symbol. This icon that you see that looks like a little finger pushing a button is, of course, a button symbol. And then this button here, which appears to be composed of a number of different geometric shapes, is a graphic symbol. Anything that you see with an actual sort of picture frame, like these objects here, these are bitmap images that have been imported into Flash Professional. You can see these are pings here. Now, it's also possible to go through and create folders within the library. So if I wanted to create a folder, I could do it by just clicking on this folder icon here and then naming it. So maybe I want to name this movie clips. I want to store all my different movie clips in there. To do this, I'm going to actually resize the library so we can see more information. So check that out. We've got name, ActionScript linkage, use count. You can see some of these are used quite a bit inside of this project. The date modified, and the type. So if we sort by type, it's pretty easy to find all the movie clip symbols. So I'm going to select this first one, scroll down to the last one, hold down my Shift key, and click. This way it selects everything from that initial click to the second one. Now I can take that and drag them all into movie clips. And I can expand or contract this folder however I wish. So it's always good to be able to organize your library in this way, especially if you're going to be sharing it with other people, but also just for personal organization's sake. You'll see a number of other things we have down here. So we have this, which is the new symbol icon. If we click this, we can actually create a new symbol. New folder, of course, which we've just seen. Properties. So properties is going to open up the properties of any specific object. And of course, this is going to look different depending upon what type of object it is we have selected in the library. So there's a button symbol. If I go onto one of these ping images and hit the information button, you can see it looks vastly different. This last one, of course, is trash. So if we wanted to delete any of these objects, it's very simple to do so. We can just select the objects, hit delete, and they will be purged from the library. So a couple other things that you might want to know. You can actually open various other libraries here. So if we had a number of different FLAs open, we could still be within this FLA here, but we could open up another library and actually drag assets from that library into our current FLA. We can also pin this particular library if we wanted to, and we can create a new library panel. So if I wanted to open up an additional library here, we can have multiple libraries opened at once. The library panel, like most panels in Flash Professional, also has a menu. So let's open that up. You can see a lot of the options here are the same as we saw on these icons down below. We have new symbol, new folder, but we can also create a new font, a new video. We can rename, delete, duplicate, or move assets. We can edit assets, edit with, and in the case of edit with, this comes into play with objects such as ping files, JPEGs, audio files, things that can be edited in various other applications. We have edit class. So in this case, if we had a movie clip symbol that had a particular ActionScript class bound to it, we could easily edit that class just by selecting the symbol and then choosing edit class. We can play. So in the case of a movie clip or graphic symbol, it would play the timeline of that particular symbol in this window up here for us to give us a preview. And we can update. So update is useful if you have external assets such as bitmap images or audio files that you change and then you want to update them. So you change them outside of Flash Professional in something like Adobe Audition or Photoshop. You want to update them in Flash Pro. You don't have to actually import them again. You can just select them and hit update, and Flash Professional will go through and update those for you. Properties, which we've seen. Component definitions for building ActionScript components. The ability to use a runtime shared library. So these are libraries that are accessed via the network. We also have this handy feature to be able to select unused items. So if I choose that here, we can see that sure enough, player Dust2 content is actually never used. And we can see in the use count, it's 0. This is good at the end of a project if you want to clean up some of the assets before you save it off and archive it. We've also got the ability to expand and collapse folders, expand or collapse all folders, an integrated help, and to be able to close this panel or close the panel group. The thing to remember about the library in Flash Pro is that the library actually contains any of the various symbols that we create and any embedded assets external to Flash Professional that we've actually brought in via import. Things that won't be in the library include simple shapes, primitives, and network resources that we'd be playing back from outside of Flash Pro. So this lesson has displayed a number of useful pieces of information about using the library inside of Flash Professional.